All right, I want you to picture the most terrifying predator the Earth has ever seen. We're talking about a shark bigger than a T-Rex, a true monster of legend. Well, you're going to want to stick around because brand new science is telling us a pretty shocking truth. The monster we all thought we knew, well, it never actually existed.
Yeah, you heard that right. For almost 19 million years, this absolute unit of a shark was the king of the oceans, an apex predator with zero competition. But what's so wild is that recent discoveries are completely rewriting its story. We're changing everything from what it looked like to how it hunted and even just how big it really was. Okay, so for decades, the image of Megalodon has been just burned into our minds, right? You know the one? We all picture this monstrous, super-sized great white shark, basically a beast straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster. I mean, the scale of this myth is just irresistible, isn't it? A torpedo-shaped tank of a shark with jaws big enough to swallow two people standing side by side. Just a nightmare from the deep. But here's the thing. This popular image, the one we've seen in countless documentaries and movies, it was all built on a foundation that's, well, a lot shakier than you probably think. So how in the world do you reconstruct an animal that's been extinct for over 3.6 million years? It's a huge challenge, right? Well, for Megalodon, our entire understanding, everything we thought we knew, is built on some surprisingly limited evidence. So the whole story really kicks off way back in 1666. A guy named Niels Steno figures out that these weird tongue stones people were finding were actually fossilized shark teeth. I mean, that was a huge discovery. It basically unlocked paleontology. Then you fast forward to 1835, and another scientist, Louis Agassiz, officially gives the species its name, and he puts it in the same family as the great white, all because their teeth looked kind of similar. Now, that one assumption is really important because it led directly to that stocky, big great white reconstruction we all know from 1996. And let's talk about those teeth for a second, because, wow, at any given moment, a megalodon had 276 teeth crammed into its jaws. They were arranged in rows, like a conveyor belt of death, always ready for action. And get this, just like modern sharks, they were constantly losing and replacing those teeth. So over a single lifetime, just one megalodon could go through an incredible 40,000 teeth. That's why they're found all over the world, littering the ocean floor, giving us our only real clues.
So, here it is, the crucial point. For all those tens of thousands of teeth found on literally every continent except Antarctica, you want to guess how many complete megalodon skeletons have ever been discovered? 0. A big, fat 0. Not one. Everything we thought we knew was just an extrapolation, an educated guess based on what we thought was its closest relative. And this, my friends, is where the story takes a massive plot twist. In the early 2000s, scientists started looking way closer at those famous teeth, and they realized that the old great white model, well, it was starting to show some serious cracks. And when you actually put them side by side, the differences are honestly pretty striking. A great white's serrations are irregular, they're triangular, perfect for sawing through flesh. But megalodons? They're much finer, much rounder. It might sound like a small detail, but it was a profound clue that Megalodon was not just a scaled-up great white. So this dental detective work led to a complete reclassification, a total rethink. Megalodon got kicked out of the great whites family tree and moved into its very own, totally extinct family, Odontodontidae, the mega-toothed sharks. Its scientific name even officially changed to Odos megalodon. This confirmed it. This was a completely separate, totally unique branch of shark evolution. So, of course, this blew the whole thing wide open. I mean, if it wasn't a stocky great white, then what in the world was it? That one question sent researchers scrambling back to the drawing board, forced to re-examine the few bits of spine they actually had. And this really shows you the dramatic shift. Groundbreaking research from 2025, led by Dr. Ken Shushimata, just completely threw out that old tank-like model. The new Megalodon, it's far more streamlined, much more slender, with these really long pectoral fins to support its massive weight. Honestly, it looked less like a great white and way more like a colossal lemon shark. And look, this new body shape doesn't just change how it looks on a poster. It changes everything about its biology, its capabilities. This wasn't just some simple makeover.
this was the revelation of an entirely new kind of superpredator. So by recalculating its proportions based on this new, much more hydrodynamic model, scientists came up with a pretty shocking new maximum size. Forget 18 meters. We're now talking a mind-blowing 24.3 meters. That is nearly 80 feet long. Just let that sink in for a second. And this comparison really puts that insane scale into perspective. It absolutely dwarfs a great white. I mean, it's rivaling the length of a modern blue whale. We are talking about a predator on a scale we had never even dared to imagine before. And this new, sleeker body plan suddenly makes so many things click into place. That hydrodynamic shape is exactly what allowed it to get that big and to travel all over the globe. And the biology gets even crazier. Fossil vertebrae suggest that babies were born already up to 12 feet long, probably after eating their own siblings inside the womb. Talk about survival of the fittest, right from birth. So, okay, you have this incredibly successful, globally dominant predator that's bigger and more efficient than we ever gave it credit for. So how could a creature like that possibly just disappear? For a long time, the most popular theory was climate change. You know, that the coming ice age just made the oceans too cold. But brand new evidence shows Megalodon was a mesotherm, basically a type of warm-bloodedness that let it regulate its own body temperature. This means it could thrive in all sorts of climates, so the cold alone, nah, that couldn't have been what killed it off. No, the new leading theory is more like a perfect storm of bad luck. So step one, its main food source, all those giant whales and dolphins, started dying out during a marine megafauna extinction event. Then step two, a new competitor shows up on the scene, the smaller, more agile great white, which could get by on a lot less food. And finally, step three, Megalodon's greatest strength, its enormous size, suddenly became its fatal weakness in a world with a shrinking pantry. But here's the beautiful and honestly frustrating truth that keeps this animal so endlessly fascinating. After all the new models, all the new theories, we're still just working from fragments. That ultimate piece of the puzzle, a complete skeleton, it's still out there, lost to time. And really, that's the big takeaway here. The story of Megalodon is just this powerful reminder that science is never finished. It's a process of constant discovery and revision. And it really makes you wonder, right? If we were this wrong about the ocean's greatest ever predator, what other giants from our planet's past are we about to meet for the very first time?